Welcome back. Now, the annual GovTech Conference will get underway in Durban from today. And this is the first time in 14 years since its inception that business and industry experts from other African countries will attend the event. Government and the ICT professionals will meet to collaborate, share experiences and challenges. And GovTech will also be held online and on site for the first time this year. SABC News anchor Naledi Moleo is there for us. So let's cross to her to find out exactly what we can expect today. Naledi, good morning. And I'm hoping it's slightly cooler there at this time because we are basically just struggling to breathe here. But of course, the humidity in Durban, I think, would be a thing. But we're not there for that. We're there for GovTech. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sakina. Well, the weather here in Durban is slightly chilly, but we're expecting that it is going to warm up. So I'm looking forward to that warm weather that you're talking about. But look where I am. It's absolutely stunning out here. I'm at the GovTech Conference as it takes place at the Durban Exhibition Center. It's, of course, put together by the State Information Technology Agency right at the heart of it, and also hosted by the Minister for Communications and Digital Technologies, Minister Khumbudzo Ntshabeni, who we're expecting to make an appearance today as well. But essentially, right at the heart of this conference is really to bring ICT to the heart of government services. So how exactly can technology improve service delivery, not just here in South Africa, but also on the African continent? You're correct, Sakina, in saying that for the first time since the inception of GovTech, you're seeing companies from really all across the continent as well coming together to come and share knowledge and insight on how government services can be improved using ICT. If you look at the landscape within South Africa over the past few years, you would have noted that our very own government has worked incredibly hard to really start to digitize their work. So the theme for this conference today is digitization and digitalization, two different things, evolving government services. And you've got different role players, and throughout the day, of course, we'll be bringing you some of the panel discussions as they are unfolding. But you've got different role players. You've got the likes of Huawei, Santec, Microsoft, and the list goes on and on. These are big contributors in the world of ICT that are going to be in conversation with government leaders on the continent to talk about how to bring technology to people, connect people, but to solve real problems as well in our communities using tech. But let's get a little bit more information now on what exactly we're expecting to hear over the next few days. I am now joined by board chairperson of the State Information Technology Agency, Mema Kanomusidi. Good morning to you, Mama. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
I imagine this is a very exciting morning. A lot of the preparations still taking place. What is it that you really want to achieve with this event?
Okay, so GovTech is really a meeting place for all the stakeholders in ICT, and not only in ICT, but also those who consume it, the services that they receive. And you actually bring, like we mentioned earlier, Santec, Microsoft, Huawei. And I think the most important thing really is for them to showcase and to help us and to show us just how we can use it to improve service delivery right across government in our country and maybe across the continent as well. So here you actually come across every sort of business that you can think of in IT. But mostly we're focused on SMMEs, and we have about 60 who were actually invited for this particular one. And this is the most exciting part for me, where you have 60 of them who have applied and they've raised their hands and said, look, we would like to actually showcase what we have done innovatively to solve the problems of our country, whether it's in health, whether it's in education, in transport, home affairs, our borders and so on, just how to manage them effectively. So out of those 60, actually 30 of them came. 23 showcased here physically. If you go around, you'll see their stands. We've seen their solutions, and some of them are very, very exciting. And for me, that is what is actually the cream of this whole thing, to say we will have our own indigenous solutions and indigenous software technologies and solutions to actually enable and make sure that we consume our own tech to some extent. So there's a lot that is coming downstream. There is a platform which we will be launching soon. It is called GovTech, and all the SMEs will be showcasing their solutions there, and that's where people can actually access them and use them. So that is really the purpose of GovTech, to bring all the minds together, to bring the techs together, to create a better way and a better world for our community.
It certainly is interesting to see that you've got this learning that's going to be happening, this information sharing between government and the IT sectors, the big role players, SMEs, as you're mentioning as well. But I think something quite special about having African leaders as well from the rest of the continent, and not just keeping it within our very own borders. Talk to us about the significance of that particularly.
Yeah. So when GovTech started about 14 years ago, the intention was really in country, but we have, of course, over time, we've just realized that it cannot be in. It's really about the continent, right? So today we have a number of African state representatives and heads. I think we have about 2 or 3 information and telecoms ministers, I think from Namibia, I think from Zambia as well. And I'm not sure because I haven't really checked the count. And the importance of that is that, when you start talking about interoperability, services flowing through the continent and actually being collaborative with everybody, you cannot do it just as on your own as South Africa. So I think the importance of this particular one is just to be able to leverage on all the technologies that you see right across, because there are a lot of SMEs and African solutions that we have already that can actually come to the fore.
Well, throughout the day, obviously, we're going to be bringing you some of those solutions, because this is what people want to see, right? Where you've got technological companies that are even trying to solve issues around copper theft in the country. Those are great solutions that are being shared, and we'll bring those to them. But perhaps 1 or 2 examples that stand out for you of the exhibitors. But I think also importantly, what you want to hear from Minister Ntshabeni. You've got the minister also part of the event coming today to attend and to be in conversation with yourselves and to see some of the exhibitors as well.
Yeah, I think all of us who have seen, once she has her mind set on something, she actually does it. She's not saying it's perfect, but she's saying let's actually start doing it. So she's like that. So she wants to see things progressing and moving. And the reason why she's here, she's actually the champion of that GovTech platform. Whether people can say, Sita, yes, we are the solution builders, we actually bring it all together. But the thinking and the mind is really hers in terms of saying, we have to get our own indigenous solutions. We have to start consuming those, and we have to get our young people coming and actually showcasing what they can do, because they can actually lead us to somewhere. So she is really the champion, the brains behind this whole thing. You will know based on her profile that she used to work for SITA before, some years back. So some of the things that she did then are actually coming to realize now. Yeah, and she's actually just accelerating them. So
well, thank you.
Nature.
No, we're looking forward to hearing from her as well. That the board chairperson for SITA, Memagano Musidi. And of course, we're going to keep bringing you coverage from the GovTech Conference as it unfolds throughout the day, as well as tomorrow as well. We'll bring you some of those small to medium enterprises that are being empowered by Digitech as well, finding solutions to some of our problems here on the continent using technology, and we'll speak to some of the big business role players as well. So stay tuned to SABC News for all of that throughout the next 2 days. We'll take a short break. When we return, Morning Live continues.